Jag gick ut i Bergsjön, nordvästra Göteborg, där för övrigt Dano Acar är uppvuxen. Han kom hit som 6-åring. Han hade en bild på honom och frågade några ungdomar om de visste vem du var.
Det är Dano Acar ju.
Vem?
Dano Acar.
Dano Acar, ja. När ni läser om honom, att polisen söker honom för kriminella grejer, vad tänker du på då?
Mafia.
Vad betyder maffia då?
Kriminell. Riktigt stor biffkriminell.
Ja, men är det någonting att se upp till?
Kolla, man ser i ansiktet på honom att han är grym.
Är det någonting att se upp till då? Varför det?
Ja, han har respekt, han är världens största.
Han har världsrespekt.
Man har respekt för honom för att han är en person som man ska ha respekt för.
Vet du varför de säger så? För de är rädda för honom.
Nej, faktiskt, han är faktiskt grym. Kolla på honom, Indonesia. Jag kan lova dig någonting, att ingen de här känner killen. Det är bara så att, det är bara det att de skryter om sig för att de ska komma på TV och yani så.
Men ser du upp till en sån kille som Dano?
Ja, varför inte? Han är cool.
Men det är ju en kriminell, det är ju maffia.
Ja, men vad är det med det?
Alltså,
det fattar du väl själv vad det är med det. Det förstår du väl? Är det någonting att... Ursäkta. Det förstår du väl själv? Det är väl ingenting att se upp till. De skadar ju människor, de rånar människor.
Alltså,
kanske till och med döda människor.
Här i Bergsjön, om man säger till exempel om man inte är sån kriminell, alltså, de flesta här i Bergsjön är kriminella.
Nej, de flesta är ju definitivt inte det.
Jo.
Inte de flesta. De flesta är ju jobbar och sköter sig.
Alltså, tonåringarna.
I vår ålder. Följt.
In the quiet town of Midyat, Turkey, a boy named Dano Acar was born in 1974. This is the story of his tumultuous life, filled with hardship, crime, love, and international intrigue. From his early days in Midyat to becoming an international fugitive, Dano's journey is one of resilience and controversy. Dano was born into a close-knit Assyrian Christian family in 1974 in the ancient town of Midyat. Midyat, a town renowned for its rich tapestry of history and diverse culture, was his first home. But life there was far from idyllic. His father, a stern and often abusive man, cast a long shadow over Dano's childhood. The family lived in a constant state of fear, with young Dano's days marred by violence and sorrow. Despite the hardships, Dano found solace in the bustling streets of Midyat, playing games with other children and his siblings. The local Assyrian church and community gatherings offered him brief moments of joy and connection. In 1980, seeking a better life, Dano's family emigrated to Sweden. The promise of safety and opportunity was a beacon of hope. They settled in a modest apartment in a suburb of Gothenburg. However, the new life in Sweden was not a panacea for the troubles that had followed them. The emigration process involved extensive paperwork and waiting periods. They attended language classes and integration programs to adapt to their new home. The scars of his father's abuse and the challenges of adapting to a new country led Dano down a dark path. By 1989, in the multicultural neighborhood full of emigrants from all around the world east of the city of Gothenburg, Dano was already involved in small-time crimes. His school days were filled with violence, rebellion, and frequent altercations with authorities. The school teachers were very concerned about his well-being at home, reported his behavior to the authorities and to the social workers, hoping to help this troubled teenager and his family. And during his teenage years, they decided to let him live with an older Swedish family to help him adapt to a more peaceful environment. These early criminal activities eventually landed him in juvenile detention. The emotional turmoil of his troubled youth and struggles with identity in a new cultural environment further pushed him towards a life of crime and desperation. After his release, Dano met a fellow Assyrian, a woman who became the light in his dark world. They fell in love and married, hoping to build a future together. But tragedy struck when Dano's mother, the only source of comfort in his life, died of cancer when he was just 20. The same year, his wife left him, unable to cope with his unresolved anger and the pain of their losses. Dano was left to navigate his grief alone, the weight of love and loss shaping his future. From the depths of his despair, Dano found a new purpose, power and control. In the underworld of Gothenburg, he formed a gang called Original Gangster, or OG. Under his leadership, the gang quickly became notorious for their ruthless tactics and criminal enterprises. The criminal gang were involved in things such as selling narcotics and extortion, and by the late 1990s, they had earned a reputation not only in Gothenburg, but also outside the city. And by the early 2000s, the Original Gangster, or OGs, as they were called, had operated in different cities in Sweden. But you see, Dano's notoriety brought him unwanted attention from law enforcement and other criminal organizations that later became his rivals in a fight territory and the cells of narcotics in the city of Gothenburg. His rise to power was swift, but it came with a price. And by the year 2001, in warm summer day on the beach, there would be a shootout and an event that would occur that would change Sweden forever, and Gothenburg in particular. And this will always be remembered as Gothenburg's first real gang war. In a podcast documentary released by Swedish radio show P3 in year 2021, former gang members and witness told the story, and the story went something like this. When Omar, who is 18 years old, goes to beach on July 4th, 2001, he has his gun with him in a plastic bag. He hangs out with guys from the prison gang Original Gangsters and says he usually commits crimes with them, but this afternoon they just wanted to swim and chill. Of course, we had our guns with us lying there under towels in bags, ready in case something happens. Because you never know when it's going to go off, Omar says. That same afternoon, a small red Opel with guys from another criminal group rolls into the parking lot of the popular bathing area. They belong to the constellation that the police and the gang called the NASA League, or the Albanians as they were called in the streets. Semir, who was a member of the Albanian gang, says that they had been told that the OGs would be at beach that day. On the beach, which is located in a residential suburb in southwest Gothenburg, it is tight between the blankets. There is the smell of grilled sausage and the loud sounds of children playing on the beach as the gangs approach each other. Medical student Vera swims in the water, having gone to the pool with her boyfriend and 3 friends. At first, she does not understand what is happening when the shots create fountains in the water. This is a documentary about one of the most ruthless gang shootings to hit Sweden in terms of danger to the public. But it is also a story about Gothenburg's first real gang war. It could have been a single incident or shooting, but it wouldn't have been a war in this sense, says police officer Ulf Holst, who worked on mapping the gangs in the early 2000s. In a dramatic turn of events, Dano was accused of arson that resulted in a fatality. Facing severe charges and an impending crackdown by Swedish authorities, he fled to Turkey in a bid to escape justice. As a Turkish citizen, Dano found refuge in the land of his birth, exploiting the lack of extradition agreement between Turkey and Sweden. This marked a significant turning point in his life as he began a new chapter in Turkey. Interpol issued a warrant for his arrest, but Dano remained untouchable in Turkey. The situation stirred political tensions between Sweden and Turkey, especially highlighted during Sweden's application to join NATO. Turkey's refusal to extradite criminals like Dano Acar and Rawa Majid, the gang leader of Foxtrot, strained diplomatic relations. This international standoff has made Dano Acar a symbol of the complexities in global law enforcement. The issue of criminals finding sanctuary in Turkey has become a significant diplomatic challenge. Sweden's efforts to curb gang violence and bring fugitives to justice are continually thwarted by the lack of cooperation from Turkish authorities. This ongoing conflict has broader implications for international law enforcement and diplomatic relations. The tension between Sweden and Turkey over this issue highlights the complexities of international policy and the need for cohesive strategies. The story of Dano Acar cannot be fully understood without delving into the psychological impact of childhood trauma. Experts agree that adverse experiences in early life can significantly shape an individual's future behavior. Children who experience trauma, such as domestic violence, neglect, or instability, often develop coping mechanisms that can manifest as antisocial behavior in adulthood. Studies indicate that nearly 60% of individuals in the criminal justice system have experienced some form of early trauma. The story of Dano Acar is not just a tale of crime and political intrigue, it is also a stark reminder of the lasting impact of childhood trauma and the urgent need for comprehensive mental health support. If you or someone you know is struggling with the effects of childhood trauma, seek professional help. In the 1990s, organized crime began to grow in Sweden, leading to an increase in gun violence. This period marked the emergence of criminal networks that would come to dominate Sweden's underworld. Today, Sweden is often referred to as the gun homicide capital of Europe due to the high number of the gun-related deaths. Economic disparities, social exclusion, and the influx of illegal firearms have all played a significant role. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for finding solutions and preventing further escalation. Dano Acar's life is a testament to the complex interplay between personal history and broader political landscapes. From a troubled childhood in Gothenburg to becoming a wanted fugitive, his journey underscores the profound effects of geopolitical dynamics on individual lives. His story is a reminder of how personal life and political histories are deeply intertwined. For more videos, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video. This will help me a ton. Thank you for watching, and I see you on the next video.